at this time, please. And of course, like you know, members of the audience are drawn from professional associations, civil rights organizations, media, labor, the academia, students, political parties, the organized private sector, the diplomatic corps, women, youth, physically challenged, senior citizens, and religious organizations. We wish to remind the debaters that they must focus only on issues and they have to be positive. No foul language to be used. Language shall be gubernatorial, dignified, and that which enhances the good image of the office of Governor of Anambra State. Candidates are expected to exhibit friendship, love, patriotism, and be truly happy to see each other or one another. Shake hands before and after the debate. Of course, we know that there will be no scores recorded for the debate. But at the end of the debate, governorship candidates will, just like the deputy governorship candidates were done to, they shall be presented with certificates of participation, after each election debate. Thank you. Ndị be anyị ogologo oyibo anụ anyị na-asụ bụ iji kọwaa ịlụtara anyị iwu ji anyị n'efe a na-eme ebe a. Anyị na-elotara anyị n'otu nọ n'isi ife a na-eme ebe a tata bụ otu Naijiria nke na-afụ maka nrụrịta ụka nke nhọpụta. Anyị na-ekene mmadụ niile ndị si n'otu dị iche iche wee bịa ebe a. Otu ndị na-ekwuru ụmụ ogbenye, ndị nta akụkọ, ndị ọrụ, ndị nkụzi ụmụ akwụkwọ, ndị otu ndọrọ ndọrọ, ndị ọrụ aka, ndị nnọchi obodo welitere isi, ndị ọha na eze, ndị ntorobịa, ndị ọlụsị, ndị welitere isi n'obodo, nakwa ndị otu ebemekpe dị iche iche. Anyị na-elotala onwe anyị na ndị na-agbakọrọ ebe a na-atụrụ anya na anyị ga-esonye n'ife a na-eme ebe a sọsọ site n'ile anya. Iwu megidere onye ọbụla nọ ebe a ibido na-akọwa ife ndị na-arụrịta ụka na-ekwu, ma ọ bụ ịkụrụ onye ọbụla aka, ma ọ bụ ikwudiri okwu ọbụla. Anyị ga-elota na nke mbụ emere na-eme ka anyị mara na anyị dagasịrị iwu a site n'iti mkpu na ịkụ aka. Bikonu, achọrọzi ya, anyị na-ayọ ka anyị jisi ike. Eziokwu na ndị Igbo si na ọ na-awa asịsa si wepụ anya n'ife nwanụ, anyị na-agakwa na ya, mana anyị ga-agba mbọ ka anyị fụ na na-ejikọrọ onwe anyị na nke a. Iwu megidekwuru onye ọbụla nọ ebe a ikpu okpu ma ọ bụ iyi efe nke otu ndọrọ ndọrọ ọbụla. A na-atụkwa anya dịka etu anyị si emebu ya na onye ọbụla nọ ebe a ga-agbanyụ ekwentị ya ma ọ bụ tinye n'ọnọdụ akụpụtaghị akụpụta. N'akụkụ nke ndị na-arụrịta ụka, a na-atụ anya n'ọsọsọ ife ndị dị mkpa ka unu ga-ada ekwu. Achọrọ ogologo okwu, achọrọ ịkọ ọnụ, achọrọ ịtụfu okwu. Asụsụ ma ọ bụ okwu ọnụ unu ga-abụ nke ga-abụ ihe ugwu na nsọpụrụ dịrị oche ọchịchị gọọmenti steeti nke Anambra. Atụrụ anya na ndị na-azọ ọchịchị ga-egosi mmụọ ịfụnanya, gosi na obi dị ha ụtọ ịfụrịta onwe ha site n'ikwu onwe ha n'aka tupu makwa oge o mechalụ nrụrịta ụka. O nwerọkwa na akara a ga-enye onye ọbụla maka nrụrịta ụka na ụdị na onye a mere ọfụma ma na onye nke ọzọ emere ọfụma. Kama emechaa dịka esigo merụ ndị osote ha, a ga-enye ndị nzọ ọchịchị gọvanọ ndị nke so ome nrụrịta ụka asambodo na-egosi nsome. Daalụnụ. Onye mee ka ozi arụ unu aka bụ onye isi otu a bụ Taiwo Alimi. Afa m bụ Dr. Arinze Agbanusi. Ekene m unu.
Nedg is a coalition of the Nigerian media, professional associations, women, youths, and civil society organizations. The State Governorship Debates Program is endorsed by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria Born, and National Orientation Agency. 23 political parties have been invited to participate in the election debates. We have relied strictly on the approved list of candidates issued by the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC. The debate series started with 2 sessions for the deputy governorship candidates held on the 29th of October 2013. Today, being the 31st of October 2013, we have 2 sessions. But we had the first session in the morning for some candidates. The remaining candidates for the evening session I'll be introducing in a short while are the remaining candidates standing before us. Of course, this session is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The final round of this governorship debates is scheduled for tomorrow, 1st of November 2013, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The rules are the same for every session, but I want to re-emphasize, because the debaters and the candidates have been briefed on the rules, but I also want to re-emphasize some of the things you need to note down. 2 minutes for opening statements, 1 minute rebuttal, 2 minutes to answer a question, and 2 minutes for your closing statement. This event is streamed live on the website www.nedg.ng. The audience is encouraged to go on the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/official Nedg. Of course, to share your thoughts as well as your opinions for feedback. At this point, let me introduce the candidates standing before us now. And of course, I will introduce in an alphabetical order. The first candidate here, we have 5 already here on the podium. The first candidate is the candidate of the National Conscience Party. He is Okonkwo Emeka Webster. You're welcome. The next candidate is the candidate of the PPA, and that is the Progressive People Alliance. He is Ezemo Godwin Chukwunenye. You're welcome. The candidate of the PPN, which is the People's Party of Nigeria, is Honorable Basil Iwoba Oranieku Ijedimma. You're welcome. The SDP's candidate is Honorable Basil Onyachonam, Social Democratic Party. You're welcome. And the candidate for the United Progressive Party, UPP, is Benedict Ndobisi Akanegbu. You are welcome. I'm being informed that the candidate of the Labour Party, Patrick Ifeanyuba, is on his way, but we've just got to get started very quickly. But before that, I am the moderator for this session, and my name is Nancy Ilo, and with me on the panel from my immediate left is...
Ide Guabo.
And to my right is...
My name is Imoni Amarere.
All right, at this point, I would invite the chairman of the NEDG, Aremo Taiwo Alimi, for his opening remarks.
Good afternoon. From the Women Development Center, Oka, I welcome you to the continuation of the 2013 governorship and deputy governorship debates in Anambra State, organized by the Nigerian Elections Debates Group, NEDG. My name is Taiwo Alimi. The NEDG election debates, the second session today, will feature governorship candidates unfolding their plans for Anambra State and the strategies of implementation before a radio television live audience, nationally and internationally. The NEDG is the largest, most credible, and most experienced debates group in Nigeria and Africa, with our activities attracting the attention of the global community. The NEDG is non-partisan, non-political, and independent, established to ensure that election debates become a permanent component of Nigeria's democracy and culture. The responses NEDG has been receiving from citizens of Anambra at home and abroad have been overwhelming and inspiring since the commencement of the debates on Tuesday, 29th October 2013, with 2 sessions of the deputy governorship candidates. NEDG debates are issue-based and issue-driven, not on persons, not religion, not ethnicity, and the debates are designed at setting public agenda by the candidates, which may form the basis of policy formulation and direction of government. Once again, I welcome you to the first round. Once again, I welcome you to the second round of the NEDG governorship debates in Anambra State. I now proceed to hand over the envelopes containing the questions to the moderator and panelists, which they will be seeing for the first time. Thank you most sincerely.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just before we go ahead, we have a timekeeper for this debate, and his name is Cyril Idebama. Thank you, Cyril. I actually want to re-emphasize for the candidates standing before us, profane language, of course, is not allowed, and direct attacks on yourselves or against each other not allowed. It should be strictly issues-based. Okay, I will get started now, and my question will start from the candidate of the NCP. Please, would like you to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and why do you think that you are most qualified to be the #1 citizen of the state?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Dr. Webster Okonkwo. I am from Nedg in the Idemili South local government area of Anambra State. I was part of the struggle to restore democracy in this country. The Fourth Republic, we ushered in the Fourth Republic through our struggles. And I inhaled a lot of tear gas. I confronted the police, I confronted the military to have democracy in place today in Nigeria. And what do we have to show for it? Poverty everywhere. My party, the NCP, stands firmly against poverty. We want to abolish poverty in this country, Nigeria. And that is why I'm coming up to be the governor of Anambra State. And I'm assuring the people of Anambra State that if elected into office, I will fight poverty with my 2 hands. I will fight with poverty as if I had problem with it before. And I assure them that I am going to remove whatever tears they have on their eyes. Why I'm saying this is because I'm going to usher in a new era of prosperity in Anambra State. The type of prosperity that will signify real democracy, because if you talk about democracy and people are hungry, if you talk about democracy and people are homeless, it is not democracy. So the democracy I want to usher in into Anambra State is the democracy that will benefit a majority. Thank you.
All right. The PPA, please, the same question.
And go with the question again.
Okay, the question is, you would introduce yourself to Anambarians, who you are, as well as telling us what your vision is for Anambra State. Why do you think Anambarians should vote you?
Thank you very much. My name is Godwin Chukunenye Ezemo. I am a full citizen of Anambra State. I grew up here. I saw lots of good things here during my childhood days. I've been out of this nation. I've been to various countries of the world, and I've seen how democracy is being practiced. I've seen how the citizens are being looked after. Then I felt a burden. I had a burden, which turned into a passion that I must submit myself at a time like this, when the entire Anambrarians are being marginalized by themselves, when things are going wrong to the extent that people can't even find food to eat. I felt that this is a time when somebody like me that actually love my own, that actually love the people, should make myself available to help get them out of the current problem, which I know is so serious, given what is going on today in terms of economic rescue, security rescue, their educational system, and whatever and whatever. Thank you very much.
All right. The same question goes to the candidate of the PPN.
Thank you very much. My name is Basil Orani Kuijadi Maiwoba. I am from Anambra East Local Government, where to be precise, in Anambra State. I feel I'm most qualified person to be the next governor of Anambra State. Having paid my dues in this politics, having been able to serve in 2 successive governments in Anambra, having held various positions in Anambra and at large federal. I saw what is happening here as self-deceit. We are not telling ourselves the truth. That's why I'm here to correct the errors done to our people. Number 1, my party will restore back peace, love, posterity, and finally take Anambrarians back to God. We are too far from God. The major problem we have in this state is insincerity. So we are coming to correct these anomalies. 2, we are going to ensure all-inclusive governance. One may ask me, how do you intend to do it? Within 6 months, if elected governor of Anambra State, we are going to conduct free and fair local government elections so that government will be in all areas. A councillor, if given authority, will be able to checkmate the errors of that ward and communities. A local government chairman, if elected into office, will be able to drive in the dividends of democracy to the people because they are near to grassroots. The problem facing Anambra is that in the last 12 years, we never had a local government election in Anambra.
Thank you. The candidate of the SDP.
Thank you, the moderator. My name is Honorable Basil Onyachonam. I am the Anambra State Governorship candidate of Social Democratic Party, SDP. I hail from Mmiata Anam, in Anambra West Local Government Area of Anambra State. I am the Chairman, Managing Director of Hemba Global Consult Limited, an international oil and gas consulting firm which has its head office in Nigeria and representative offices in United States of America, United Kingdom, and India. I am a graduate of Faculty of Law, Anambra State University, and to the glory of God, I hold my LLB, my LCC, my BCC, my MSPE, India, and other professional certificates accredited to my resume. I am married, and to the glory of God, the marriage is blessed with children. Anambra State was created on the 27th of August, 1991, and Social Democratic Party, SDP, was the first political party in Nigeria to govern Anambra State. SDP is a party for the matured minds. It's a party that understands the plight and the dilemma of our people. We understand the foundation and the master plan of Anambra State. And in delivering our programs to the good people of Anambra State, we have come up with 10 prioritized agendas, starting from security, power and energy, education, infrastructure, industrialization, spiritual reinvigoration, sports, and to mention but a few. The fundamental problem in Anambra State is security.
Thank you. UPP candidates, please.
Thank you, moderator. My name is Professor Benedict Ndobisi Akanebu. I'm a professor of economics. I did my first degree in economics with first class, master's in economics, and PhD in economics as the best graduating PhD in economics in the United States of America. I have worked at the World Bank, I've worked at the Housing and Urban Development, and I have worked at the Research and Evaluation Department, all in Washington, D.C., in the United States of America. And I have been a director and chief executive of 4 incorporated companies. So I know by the virtue of my academic qualification and my professional experience, I know how to create jobs, I know how to manage resources, and that is exactly why I brought myself up to be the next governor of Anambra State. Because seeing what is happening in our state is quite humiliating to me. So that's why I am bringing in agenda to change the way things are done. And in that agenda, I have 7-point agenda. I will deal on the issue of education, agriculture, job creation, which is very important, and then I will go to security, security. We must address it before we can move forward. And then, of course, I'll go to the issue of health. These are my agendas, and in due course, I will take them one by one and elaborate on them. So I am for change. United Progressive Party is for change. We need to change the way things are done in our state because I know better. I've been exposed. I know how to do all this. And that's why I am bringing myself as a servant leader.
Thank you. While the debates the questions were being answered, the candidates of the Mega Progressive People's Party, MMPPP, walked in. He is Pastor Simon Chinweuba Okafor. Pastor Simon Chinweuba Okafor, you're welcome. Just 2 minutes for opening statement, 1 minute for rebuttal, 2 minutes for a closing statement, and 2 minutes in answering questions. The first question we asked your co-debaters, why do you think you're most qualified to be the governor of this state? And introduce yourself.
Yeah, I am Pastor Simon Okafor. I am an economist. I hail from Mmiata Nam in Anambra West Local Government Area, from the Anambra North Senatorial Zone of Anambra State. I think that Anambra State has a problem, and the problem we have is not harnessing what we have. Already, there is an Orient resources that is already in Anambra State, and ever since the inception of this particular Orient refineries, the impact has not been felt much in this state. And the first thing we are going to do is to revive that particular sector and make sure that we generate money. Because before we can move ahead in this state, we need money. And so when we generate money from that place, we are going to invest in the transport sector, because I have seen a lot of people suffering in Anambra State because of transport. Many times when market closes, people trek from main market to, well, if you know the terrain very well. And I have seen that it's becoming a serious problem. The other day, I just went to see somebody. I was waiting for a bus for nearly 1 hour, and it's not good. So we want to give transport a boost. We are going to actually make transportation easy by providing buses that can be taking people at a very cheap prices. People go to businesses, people go to market, people go to their workplace, and sometimes they are late. Why? Because there is no good transport system. We are going to tackle that immediately as soon as we get in. Now, the next thing is the agricultural sector. We know that many people are, at least my people are farmers, and many times when they bring this particular product to the town, they are charged exorbitantly, considering the taxes that have been...
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me bring in Imoni.
Thank you very much. We start with the candidate of the MPPP. Well, it's a fact that Anambra State has joined the League of Oil-Producing States in Nigeria. Now, if you are elected governor of Anambra State, how do you intend to use the resources from the oil find in the development of Anambra State and to the benefit of its citizens?
Yes, like I already said, that the money from the oil sector is going to be plowed back into the system. Like, first of all, we talked about the transport system. The transport is going to receive a boost. And we are not going to be taking taxes from the people because people are heavily taxed in Anambra State. And you see a situation where somebody brings a goods from the local villages and he's being taxed and making the price of goods exorbitant. So we are going to tackle that and make sure that taxes come down by using the money gotten from the resources, and it's going to provide employment for the people. We are going to invest in industries. At least with our allies overseas, we are going to make sure that, there are industries built in the state. And for that, when that is done, I know too well that our people will be employed and it will reduce crime. It reduces crime. And we are going to also give bursary award to university students. From the beginning, we are going to give, free education from primary school to secondary school level. But then we are going to be giving that bursary award to the universities that at least once a year they will be able to take care of, the things they have been spending to keep up. When you look at our school system, you discover that our people are not actually going to school. The male enrollment in the universities are low. Why? Because of the costs that is being inherited. And then we are going to actually make sure that we lessen the burdens of the people by giving them a bursary award yearly. And for that, I'm sure that when we do that, the sufferings of Anambra State will be minimized. And again, we are going to also look at several areas that people don't even think about. Like in the area of...
Thank you very much. Candidate of the NCP.
Okay, you see, the NCP is a highly ideological party. And anything we are doing, we set up a system that will last forever. If elected the governor of Anambra State, the first thing we are going to do with the oil resources is to have an independent power plant that will make this state a paradise. An independent power plant that will service the industrial sites. Because if you don't have these facilities in place, whatever money you are spending is being wasted. But if we have this foundation of power, energy in this state, then every other thing will now take effect from that. So we are going to invest in an independent power plant, first and foremost. And we are now going to have an industrial site that will be serviced by this independent power plant. So that industrialists will now come into Anambra State and invest. And you see the multiplication effect, because if the industries are coming up and they are doing very well, you see the estates, housing estates, where people that will be working in the industry will be living. Then you see the infrastructure that will come with the estates, and you see new settlements.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the PPA.
Thank you, moderator. Given an opportunity as a governor of Anambra State, I will, first of all, invest in power. This is a very important area because virtually everything we do today revolves around power. There's nothing ever that can hold here without power being here. You know very well, for a long time now, we've not addressed this. We are like bachelors that left home in the morning without removing the previous night's ashes from the cooking pot. I will invest on power, generate power, encourage industries, dead industries to come up, new ones to come in, then generate employment for the people. I will also invest on agriculture. Seriously, the second very important point, whereby I will build a farm settlement, whereby our young men that are roaming our roads will go and then be engaged fully in gainful employment. Then, having done this, I will sort of take away a big chunk of the population out of this.
Thank you very much. Before we go to the candidate of the PPN, the moderator has some announcements.
Okay, while the question was being answered, the candidate for Labour Party as well as the candidate for UDP walked in. The candidate for Labour Party is Patrick Ifanyu Uba. Thank you for joining us, though you're a bit late. But the candidate of the UDP is Barrister Okoye Godson Mbodile or her name. I hope I got that right. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. So I think Imoni should go ahead.
All right, candidate of the PPN.
Thank you, sir. So like I was saying before my time went up, I say we'll lay structure first in Anambra. We don't have a structure in Anambra. A governor cannot operate alone. So I'll stand by laying a structure in Anambra that will recognize every tier of government. We have a local government election to put the councillors on ground, put the supervisory councillors on ground. All this thing will help to eradicate poverty and crime. When you keep them busy in their various capacities, it will reduce a lot of problems from the center. That's point number one. Two, if this money you're talking about is made available to us, we are going to invest it on that structure already laid on ground. We're going to put transportation system in place, a good one. We are going to assist even the Orient Petroleum Resources. We are talking about refinery, talking about oil without mentioning the Orient Petroleum Resources.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the SDP.
Thank you very much, the moderator. If given the opportunity to be elected as the executive governor of Anambra State, I will kill and bury unemployment in Anambra State. SDP understands the foundation and the master plan of the state, and will be addressing the problems of Anambra State, looking at the cause of some of these problems that has held our state hostage. One fundamental issue that we must address very critically is the issue of security. In Anambra State, take a look, let me give you, on the 19th of January 2013, over 40 corpses were found floating on Ezu River in Anambra State. And yet there's a government in Anambra State. On the 11th of July 2003, Dr. Chris Nwabezengige was kidnapped in Anambra State while in office as the executive governor of Anambra State. Until date, the culprits have not been brought to book. On the 2nd of September 2002, Chief Barnabas Sigwe.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the UPP.
Moderator, please repeat the question for me.
The question is, Anambra State has joined the League of Oil-Producing States in Nigeria. Now, if you are elected governor of Anambra State, how do you intend to utilize the resources from the oil find to the benefit of Anambra people and for its development?
Of course, the first thing I will do is to constitute a commission to look into the revenue that is accruing from the oil sector. Having said that, I will now go into the security situation in my state. I will seriously tackle the security problems. And after I do that, then I will now go into the issue of creating jobs for my teeming youths. Because Anambra people deserves better. Our youth deserves better. We have to go into that issue and then, of course, go into the issue of education. I'm a professor, so I know how to tackle education issues in my state. And, of course, go into the issue of agriculture. And then try to modernize agriculture by implementing agro-based farms that will encourage the farmers to do better. Then, of course, the issue of local government must be looked into. With the resources, I have to institute a commission to look into that immediately.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the UDP.
Thank you very much, the moderator. I'm very sorry for my late arrival. Very, very sorry about that. It's a very important occasion, and I thank you for this opportunity. Well, in the area of job creation and with money we are expecting from the oil industry, it will add impetus to what we have in mind. That's the major thrust of the government will be what we have put together as shape, that's security, health, agriculture, power, education. Not in that particular order, but if we invest the money into security, jobs will be created. If we create a database of retired police officers in this state, retired naval officers, retired army officers, that alone has created some jobs. In that area, at least in the area of intelligence, in the area of gathering information across the state, we're going to do something there.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the Labour Party.
I don't know the question.
Well, let me repeat the question because you came in after the question had been asked. Anambra State has joined the League of Oil Producing States in Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, my question is, how do you intend, as governor of Anambra State, to utilize the resources from oil to the benefit of the people of Anambra State and in developing Anambra as a whole?
Well, thank you. I want us to apologize for coming late. The first question is that Anambra State is not producing exportable oil. We are not producing exportable oil. Our oil cannot be exported. I am an oil expert. What we have in Otosha cannot be sent out of Anambra. So God made it for us to have it for internal generation. So we use it to create wealth. And this is very instructive. Our oil cannot be exported. We don't have any link to international water. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I want to reiterate that our debaters are not supposed to read from any text. But if you have a paper and a biro, you can jot some things you need to note down. Another thing that I want to re-emphasize, please, I would like the audience to be calm, no clapping, no jeering, and of course, no mocking of any of the candidates here. They are here to speak to you, to all of us, to Anambarians. Okay, I think I'll call Ide at this time, and Ide would start with the candidate of the NCP.
Thank you. Those who know say the governorship elections of November in Anambra State is all about trust. So can you tell us why you think the people of Anambra should trust you and that you will keep your promises against the promises of other candidates?
Well, I have a pedigree. I did not just come from nowhere to contest for the post of Anambra State Governor. I was the Students' Union President of the University of Nigeria and Nsukka when I was a student there. And I've been a consistent activist, advocating for rights, advocating for what is right. And I've served in so many organizations. Right now, I'm the chairman of the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association, Anambra State. And I've been elected for 2 terms, and they are even saying I should come for 3rd term, which I do not want. So I have discharged my duties wherever I have the opportunity. And with my pedigree as an activist, whatever I say is what I mean, and that is what exactly I'm going to do if elected the governor of Anambra State. And even now in NCP, NCP is not just a political party. We combine activism with politics. While we are going for political posts, it's because the people we trusted never delivered. So now as activists, we said, okay, let us go and do it ourselves so that we show example. And I assure you that if I am elected, I'll take only 1 term because I'm just coming to show example of how it should be. And after showing that example, I will bow out gracefully. I assure you that.
The PPA?
Yeah, thank you, moderator. I will say I was the Financial Secretary of Students' Union at Federal Poly Laro, and it was because of my transparency and honesty that I was elected into that post. I've had a lot of things to do with the public here, and I've shown them consistency in the way I deliver things truthfully. Whatever I've said in my life as a young boy, I've kept it, and I am known for this. I've made several promises to the entire Anambrarians. For instance, I promised NUJ I would build their secretariat for them. I did it within the specified time. I didn't go back from it. I made also a promise to the Nigerian Medical Association here that I will help them in doing their medical week. I did it. I've been consistent.
The PPN?
Thank you, moderator. Well, like I said earlier, I've been opportune to serve in 2 successive governments. And I've held a position as a NAPEP chairman in Anambra State. And I dealt with Anambrarians all through in that position. They can attest for me what I did when I was there. As a security advisor to the governor in 2 sessions, I never done anything that would bring lack of trust on my name. I delivered. And Anambrarians are there to attest to it. I am not having any doubt in my mind that Anambrarians will not trust me because I've been tested and I think I got it right. Thank you very much.
The SDP.
Thank you very much. I am a man of integrity. I have character and fear of God. And also I am a voice representing the youth of Anambra State. If elected today, I will be the youngest governor in Nigeria. I'm out to empower the youth of Anambra State. Time has come for us to invest and improve the lives of our people. My administration will invest in industrialization. We have 4 major industries to be created within 2 years in office. We shall be having automotive industry at Nnewi, a textile industry at Onitsha, printing and publication industry at Oka. In our educational system, one of the major problems we have in Anambra State is that we lack the competency to embark on projects that will stand the test of time. My administration, if elected into power, I will ensure that free education is given to our children from primary to secondary school. I will ensure the prompt payment of worker salary in Anambra State.
The UPP, please.
Thank you. I've always believed that a person who is going to lead Anambra in this dispensation must have a good character, must be a man of integrity, and must have a pedigree. And more especially, the person must have to be humble. Then, I came from a very humble beginning. My father was the late Igwe of Orauku. So, I learned the virtue of being a servant to the people. Now, I'm a professor of economics. By that virtue, I have been under custody of students. I know how to take care of students and be honest with them. And I'm a Christian of one of the high repute, because I was a mass servant when I was young. And I've been all the time attracting and doing things for Christians. So I believe in God. And when you believe in God, you do the right thing. And that's what I believe. And of course, I've been founder of many associations. The Nigerian Friendship Association in the United States, I'm the founder. And of course,
Okay, candidates of the UDP.
Thank you very much. There is no doubt that trust is fundamental in governance. And I'm a lawyer by training, a politician by practice. I do not want to bore you with the history of my father, who was in the Federal House of Representatives in 1979. And of course, one of the 14 people that signed for the requisition for New Anambra State at a very great risk to his life. He held fit, he held the fort, now he's late. We, the offsprings, are here. I've practiced law for 25 years, and politics too. I've been Deputy National Organizing Secretary of UDP, and I happen to have been Special Advisor to former Senate President, now the Secretary to Government of the Federation and Empire Sanian. I have handled other positions that may not be reasonable to disclose here. Yes, trust is important. There is also need for character, calling, and courage in this thing. Thank you.
It will be your turn, the candidate of the Labour Party.
Well, I have a pedigree. I'm a son of a teacher, and I had a very good upbringing. And then also, my community background can speak for itself. What we need to do is to get people closer to local government by conducting local government election. I will conduct local government election within 90 days. As immediately I'm being sworn in, we are going to develop, install 2 power plants, one at the bank of River Niger, one in Otocha, in order to industrialize, develop our place. Security will come settled, and we are going to protect lives and properties, and at the same time manage our industrialization, because the youth needs to be employed. And these are the key 3 things I think I have here: local government election, power and development, security. That's it.
Okay, MPP.
MPP.
MPPP, answer.
Thank you, the moderator. Talking about trust, I want to let us know here that a man that's not recreated can never give the good life to the people, because every tree bears fruit of its kind. Now, a man that's not recreated has the spirit, has the nature of Satan. One commits sin not just because he is a sinner, but because he has the nature of sin. And a bird cannot, afford but to fly. A fish cannot afford but to swim. So, if a man is not recreated, that man can never do good to the people. But thank God that God has made us, given us a new spirit, a new life, that we cannot afford to, but to do good to the people. Our spirits has been recreated, and God has given us that spirit to be able to give the good life to Anambrarians. So I want to let Anambrarians know that if you are voting anybody in, you must know, check the person's nature and know whether he has the nature to do good or to do bad. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next question will go to the candidate of the PPA. And I will be asking you the question on heavy dependence on the federation account, because of course most states around the country depend on Abuja. At the end of every month, Abuja shares money and everybody comes back to the state. So if Abuja doesn't share money, no money. How do you intend to, make sure that Anambra State is not heavily dependent on federation account?
Thank you. Anambra State is blessed with a couple of major cities. Let me take Onitsha, for instance. There are a lot of revenue to be gotten out of Onitsha. If it is managed well, let's say our motor parks, if no loophole is created from where people will steal the money that is meant to develop the state, that money will come back into our coffers and we'll use it to develop the state. I've said I will work on power. It has a priority. With the power, I will generate new industries. I will encourage resuscitation of the dead ones. They will create employment and we'll be getting revenue out of them. When we are getting revenue out of them, we will still use them in developing other areas that we need to put money in. Likewise, in our agriculture, which will be integrated in its form up there in the northern part of Anambra State. There, I will create employment also and create raw materials, employment opportunities, as well as food, which will increase the value of the naira within Anambra State, and as well as generate the raw materials with which we can export and use in our local industries. From there, the state will get some money also, and we use it in developing our state. Then, there are, in my education, at the same time, I've vowed to reintroduce sports as a curriculum, right from primary to secondary education, whereby the youth will be encouraged to participate in what we are doing and will be able to excel in the area where they have gotten the talents, not just reading or writing A to Z. They will know they can use their talents given by God for the benefit of the state. Then they will earn income for the entire Anambra people and pay their taxes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The candidate of the PPN. Question on the heavy dependence on federation accounts. How do you intend that the Anambra State comes out of that quagmire?
Thank you very much. Like I said earlier, that I'm an insider, I've been an insider. If we can shun corruption in Anambra, the IGL being generated locally here will take care of our salaries. I'm going to put a transparent commission that will be in charge of IGL. And if we're harnessed, I don't think I have any problem in paying salaries, even without the federation account. We have enough within us, but the problem is corruption. I'm going to live exemplary leader. If I'm an exemplary leader that shun corruption, I'm not corrupt. I'm not asking for over-invoiced. I'm not telling any accountant to add money for me. I'm not telling anybody to return money back to me after awarding contract. I assure you, what we have locally here will take us to another level. Thank you very much.
The candidate of the SDP.
The problem we have in Anambra State is corruption and mismanagement. Well-managed Anambra State will be most sufficient for industrialization and engaging our women and youth and our women in lucrative jobs opportunities. In Anambra State, corruption and security has been our problem, and if we will tackle the issue of security very well in Anambra State, every other thing will thrive. There's an enabling environment for the captains of industries to invest. It's only when the environment is safe, that is only when our people that are always afraid to come home and invest will be here and willing to invest in Anambra State. So my administration comprehensive youth empowerment. We have all what it takes to govern this state.
Thank you. The candidates of the UPP.
It's very clear that Anambra State is well endowed and well blessed with human resources to go with that. So I will generate internal generated revenue through the creation of jobs. And for me to do that, I have to attract foreign investors, given that we have the security situation in check. And of course, we have to encourage our domestic investors. People from Anambra develop all other places in Nigeria. We have to encourage them to come back so that they can, through their entrepreneurship, open up industries and then create jobs. Thereby, we are creating revenue. And of course, being with the World Bank, I know how to attract foreign investors. And when they come, because the security situation is good, then they will create jobs and increase our internal generated revenue. And then, of course, I'll go to the oil sector. The new oil sector, the petroleum that we found out, I have to seriously commission a committee to look into that, thereby creating money from natural resources from oil for my people. And that is internal generated revenue.
Thank you. UDP, please.
Thank you very much. Well, like I've said so many times, government needs to create a synergy with the corporate world. And there's no doubt that Anambra State has a very high concentration of business people in this country. All government needs to do is to interface with the business community so that whatever it is that will be provided, whatever it is that will make it easier for business to flow, for companies to thrive, for industries to be created, that's what government is going to do. We're going to create an enabling environment that will make it possible for them to operate. And in the health area, by the time we're through with what we're doing, the health tourism is going to generate its own level of revenue. So depending on the federal government will be an option. Anambra State has what it takes to generate enough revenue. Even in the area of agriculture, we're going to also go into that. It is the business of government to put the infrastructure in place that will make it possible for all the citizens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The candidates of the Labour Party.
Well, it's all about job creation and the wealth, creation of wealth. What we have to do is to create opportunities for our businessmen to dominate Nigerian economy, because looking at 160 million Nigerians, and if we can shift our base and then uplift our businessmen from being traders to industrialists and then have our focus on Nigerian market, I believe we can make a lot of money and create a lot of millionaires from Anambra State. And at the same time, the most important thing is, how do we get in this money? Because we can't be talking about 3 billion state receiving 3 billion. I have a program where our stepping stone will be 5 billion naira monthly revenue through dividends that we are going to get from businesses. And I mean it, and then we are going to create a seaport. We're going to create an inland container terminal. I'm sure by the time we harness things that we want to do in our governance, I believe in 6 months we will hit close to 7 billion. And I want to also say something very instructive.
Thank you. The candidates of the MPPP.
Yes, thank you, the moderator. When there is peace in an environment, everything thrives. Anambra said we are going to make sure that there is peace in this state, and for that, every business we look at will thrive, like attracting investors. If there is peace in this state, I believe that investors will come from far and near to invest in this state. Then we are looking at the agricultural sector, like we have said. We are going to make sure that the agricultural sector is thriving in this state, because I believe, so strongly believe as a farmer that Anambra State has the land, has the capacity to produce their own food. And looking at also the transport sector that I've just said before, we are going to make sure that we bring buses that will charge very low, and people will be moving with those buses even to the 21 local governments in Anambra State, so that this urban, rural-urban migration will be lessened. We make sure that people, transport themselves freely, and they come to
Thank you.
business.
The candidates of the NCP.
Yeah, thank you. At our present level, Anambra should rank second to Lagos State in terms of IGR, but because of corruption. So when I am elected the governor of Anambra State, I'm going to fight corruption. I cannot use contractors to collect revenue, because it means I don't have any confidence in my civil service. If we have Board of Internal Revenue, why should we use contractors to collect taxes and levies. So I will fight corruption. And as I've said here, my party is highly ideological. It is a socialist party. I'm going to tax the super rich. I'm going to tax the super rich very well. You don't use siren in my state without permit. I will not use siren as a governor. You don't use convoy in my state without permit. You don't use tinted glasses without permit. I will tax these things very well and raise money for us to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. That is my purpose of going into government. I want to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor so that everybody will be happy and there will be prosperity in this state. So I'm going to tax the super rich very well and raise money for Anambra State.
All right. The audience, please. The audience, please. No cheering, no clapping, so that we can concentrate on what we're doing. Thank you. I would appreciate that we are all calm. Tony Nwoye, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, walked in while the questions were being answered. I will also direct the question to you. What will you do to increase IGR in this state if you are elected the next governor? Because most states across the federation depend on the federation account. Everyone goes to Abuja every month. What would you do differently?
Hydra, the problem, the cancer, which is insecurity. Anambra is one of the most insecure states in the whole part of the country. One of the most insecure states. Number one.
Okay, can we just give you like 10 seconds because we seem to be having a problem with your audio. Okay.
Anambra State is one of the most insecure states in the whole.
It's still not okay. I would appreciate if the audio department can make that a bit louder. But before that, I still want to reiterate. Please, the audience would appreciate that you be calm, and we don't want to hear any noise. We don't want to hear any voice over here. We're here for the debate, and please give the debaters time to concentrate and tell us what they want to tell us. Candidate of the PDP, can you please go on? Let's see if the audio...
First of all, I will ensure that this government provides security. In provision of security, a lot of factors are on. They cannot talk about increasing the time generating revenue if I'm not tackle the major problem. The major problem is insecurity. You will agree with me with only Onitsha, Nedg, and even to a large extent, Oka. These three cities are enough. If we're harnessed, if the state is secure, if the traders or businessmen in Onitsha.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I will use my authority as the moderator and halt you a bit. We'll come back to you when your audio is okay. But we'll go to the next question. I think that's what we should do instead of wasting time and we can't hear what you actually say. Okay, please try again. Let's see if it's better.
In increasing the internal revenue in the state, we should provide security. If elected into government, Anambra State today is one of the most insecure states in the whole country. Number one, if the businessmen and women in Onitsha, for instance, Nedg and other commercial cities in Anambra State are given a novel environment, the investors will come, the private sector will come, private sector investors will come in, our youth will be gainfully employed. If the youth are gainfully employed, for instance, when I was a young man, after my secondary school, I had up to 250 beds with little money. From that, I made a lot of money. If, for instance, a hotel in Oka, something like Ban Hill, cannot talk about 100 customers per day because of insecurity, because of the harsh weather. Number one, if elected as a governor, we should be able to provide a enabling environment. That is the most important thing. And they cannot talk about you have to generate more revenue like Lagos State or other states in the country without providing security. And also, I'm of the opinion that if elected governor of Anambra State, that we have to.
Thank you. Okay, Ide would ask the next question, and it will start from the PPN.
After 22 years of the creation of Anambra State, the capital, Oka, must rank amongst some of the least developed in the country. Are you worried about this? And if you are, just give us your recipe for turning the situation around. Yeah, PPN, please.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm very worried about that. Oka is my alma mater. And while I was in government, I made several efforts to bring governor to face developing Oka. But because I'm an ordinary advisor, most advice given won't be well utilized. In my manifesto, Oka is the first point of agenda. I'm going to change Oka. Recently, I went to Owerri, while passing at Owerri with my boys. We are comparing Oka and Owerri of yesterday. Owerri is like England, like a city in England. Oka is like a local government headquarters. So my priority will be making Oka to look like a capital that it is. It is very shameful that Anambrans are bursting of money, being number one in this, number one academia, in business, everything we are number one. If you get our capital, you will weep. So I assure you, and all Anambrans, that within 8 months in office, you will not care again. Oka won't be the same again. We are going to employ all efforts in making Oka a capital, a befitting capital that fits Anambrans. Thank you very much.
The SDP, please.
Very much. The problem in Anambra State has to do with the foundation. SDP was the first political party to govern the state, and we understand the foundation and the master plan. If elected as the executive governor of Anambra State, I will embark on the implementation of the Oka master plan. And when this is done, Oka will be made one of the best capital cities in the world. The issue of security has to be tackled from the grassroots. We have to look at the causes of this insecurity in Anambra State. One of these issues is that most of our people pretend to live above the law. Our constitution is very clear on this note that 1999 Constitution, subsection 1, subsection 1, states expressly that the constitution is supreme, and all authorities and persons the constitution shall have binding force on all authorities and persons. So our people have not been adhering to the principles of rule of law. I've given you an instance of in cases where people have committed crime.
The UPP.
My good people of Anambra State, if I'm given the opportunity, the first thing I will do is to go back to the drawing table and review the existing master plan that was done by His Excellency Ezife when he was in office. If that is,
Thank you very much.
If that is not enough, of course, with my experience working at the House of Development in the United States of America, I will now design a new master plan for Oka. Oka deserves better than what we have. Of course, we can do little things like planting, grasses, flowers, things that will benefit us and beautify the city so that it will look like a real city. And of course, we have a housing scheme in parts of Oka to structure the physical look of Oka. That is what I will do in my administration. But before I can do that, I must look into the existing master plan first, because I don't like wasting money. And having done that, then I will implement what I have.
Thank you. The UDP.
Thank you very much. This, again, brings us to the major function of government. Yes, there is a master plan in place for the whole state and, of course, for Oka as the capital. If I'm given the opportunity, Oka will not be what it is now. We'll probably locate another place close to Oka where you can have new capital city. Other countries in the world have them, where proper infrastructure will be laid out, proper community base will be laid out, office areas, corporate areas will be laid out. And of course, with the synergy you have with the corporate world, it will be easy to bring in the inflow of cash that will be needed to develop those areas. It is a matter of planning and consulting properly with the right sectors and the right agencies. It is not about building one structure here or one structure there. It is going to be a holistic thing that will take the old Oka capital to the new place we want it to be. Thank you very much.
The Labour Party, please.
Contribution to Lagos State. I won the best street in Lagos State in 2011, which was single-handedly built by me. Today, I have the best community in Anambra State built by me. And I believe if anybody can visit my community, I don't think there's any state, any street, or any town in Anambra State that can beat my community. So if you look at that, and looking at Oka Master Plan Program, which has been passed by State House of Assembly and has been neglected by successive governments, we have to implement it. But not only about that, we have great opportunity in the north, where we will site our power plant in Otuosha, tapping the resources from Orient Petroleum. So we need to have an airport and then build a mini city where people coming into Anambra State can at least see what we are doing. It takes nothing. I have done it. I built the best estate in Abuja, in Maitama, and then I have...
Thank you.
The MPPP.
It is worrisome that when we enter Oka, it's like we enter Anambra State is like we enter darkness. Like, if you are coming from Enugu, you see street lights. If you are coming from Asaba, you see street lights all over the place. But when you enter Anambra, it's like you entered into darkness. You know, it doesn't supposed to be so. So I'm so worried about that. I'm talking about the capital city. The capital city needed a facelift. And the road system is very bad. In fact, I've seen the worst roads. Even coming to Oka, you pass a lot of bad roads. We are going to go back to the master plan and see how we can implement it and make sure that Oka is given a facelift. That all these potholes you see everywhere will be a thing of the past. And as soon as we enter into government, if elected into power, we are going to, first of all, tackle the issue of street lights, because this is what has encouraged crime in our state. If we tackle the...
Thank you.
The NCP.
Yeah, Oka is like this just for one reason: fiscal indiscipline. Each year we make provisions in the Appropriation Act for development of Oka. At the end of the year, nothing is done. Nobody asks questions. The problem we have is that we personalize the office of the governor so much. Instead of doing what is in the Appropriation Act, you go about sharing checks as if you are doing lottery in Anambra State. How do you expect Oka to develop? My party is highly disciplined. If it is on paper, and if it is passed by the House of Assembly, it must be done. That is my assurance. So fiscal indiscipline, once we deal with it, Oka will develop. Thank you.
The PDP candidate, please.
Oka, if I'm elected into office, Oka as a state capital should be given a facelift. In giving Oka a facelift, we should talk about having a mega city called a state capital. I don't want to start drawing comparison with Enugu, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Edo, and so on. But one thing must be clear. If I'm elected in the office, one of the most cardinal, if not for the most primary, is to give this place a facelift. There should be 3 arm zones. Not only building Oka as a capital, we should provide basic amenities. We should provide good roads, both state and federal roads. The issue of that this particular road is the federal road. So because of that, the state government should not do it. I don't believe in that. If I'm elected into the office, not only that one, something like hospitals in Oka, instead of going overseas for medical tourism, let there should be a tourism here. I should make Oka a state by which some of our people who are well-to-do people can be able to come home comfortably. The way they normally flock in Enugu, the way they flock in Asaba, the way they have houses in Lagos and Abuja and so on.
The PPA.
Thank you very much. The situation of Oka really is not palatable to me. The first thing I've got to do is to pick up and dust the master plan of Oka, review it, to make sure that it reflects a contemporary state capital. Because the plan that's been done before, obviously, is not going to match what is supposed to be on now. I will do that. After doing that, I will encourage Anambrans. We've got thousands of them out there to come and invest here. The state cannot build cannot build with their resources, but we can create the enabling environment to allow our people to come and invest their money locally in a think-home philosophy package. What Ezife did, I can tell you, the love I have for this state made me, during Ezife's program, I came and invested those early 90s as a very young man. I will pick up some of the projects that has been abandoned.
Thank you. Okay, Imoni, your question. SDP.
All right, candidate of the SDP. we have spoken, all of you seem to agree that there's infrastructural deficit in the state capital here, Oka. But one other challenge that seems to be very clear in Anambra State is that of transportation. Now, if you are elected governor of Anambra State, what would be your mass transportation policy addressing areas of, say, water transportation, road transportation, and even air transportation, and possibly railways?
Thank you very much. Like I said, the major problem of this state is foundation. And security is one of the fundamental problems that, if not solved, every other thing you think about cannot thrive. In Anambra State, we have already existing transportation system. But these transportation systems, most of our people do not have the confidence of patronizing this transportation system because of there is no confidence on ground because of absence of security. So paramountly, what is most important in Anambra State is security. And our people have to observe and implement the principles of rule of law. There are many people in Anambra State, once contract is given to them, such contract will not be executed and nobody says anything. It is only when we have come back to the principles of rule of law, that is only when programs and projects of the government of the state will thrive to satisfy the good people of Anambra State. I will revitalize the economy of Anambra State if given the opportunity to govern this state. My administration will embark on a transportation scheme that will be functional and reliable. We must engage people that have the prerequisite knowledge, character, and the fear of God to manage our resources. We are so much blessed in this state, and one of the major problems we also have again is mismanagement of resources. Anambra State is so rich. We are so blessed. We are the light of the nation. The Holy Bible says in the book of John chapter 8 verse 12 that Jesus Christ is the light of the nation. Anambra State is the light of the nation and has also been described as the brain boss of the nation. We have all what it takes to better the lives of our people. The issue of security.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the UPP.
My good people of Anambra, we have to do the first thing first. In Anambra, we have transportation issues. We understand that. But then the first thing we have to do is to look into government subsidizing transportation for the poor people of Anambra State. I think my government will do that. I have plans for that. And having said that, I have to take care of the roads first. When we take care of the roads, the transport system will be easier. And then we can go into the issue of light rail. That probably will be in my second term in office. I will look.
Audience, please.
I will look into the issue of light rail. Having studied it in the first term, it's not something you have to do immediately, but that is in my agenda, and I will look into that seriously in order to subsidize the poor people of Anambra, because we think it's an impossibility. But I tell you, it's very easy to do.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the UDP.
Thank you very much. Without much ado, Anambra State, no doubt, has the collection of the best transporters in the whole of this country. Is it not then an irony that there is no reasonable transport system in the state? Why? Because there is a conscious effort by the people in government in the state to exclude the transport sector, the business sector from governance. We've been clapping with one hand for a long time. It is about time we involve these people in governance. We talk about Chidebere, Nedg, and all the Chisco, and all of them. Why can't we have a meeting with them, discuss with them? They bring in their own ideas on how to locate areas where this transport will go. Government can give them task breaks. They bring in their vehicles, they bring in their distance. They hope, plot it out for you. It's not rocket science. We can do it. And that's why I say, all you need is a person with a vision and 21 men of goodwill. We'll solve it.
Very much. Candidate of the Labour Party,
Again,
what is your mass transportation policy if elected?
Again, I want to also use my background. I always take a leaf from my background because it's something that I have done. When I came back to this country, I did what people that has been in business for 16 years has not done. And up till date, no one has been able to build 50% of my capacity. Same zeal I will develop Anambra State. In 1 year, we are going to have a seaport. We are going to have an inland container terminal. We are going to have a good transport system. But the most important thing is to build our rural roads using our local youths, our youths in the local areas to generate employment in order to interlock our rural roads. If we have good rural roads, and for example, I was coming today, and then we have a blockage in just one road, and then we have to turn around for another journey of 30 minutes instead of getting closer, waiting 5 minutes. So there's a big problem in Anambra State. We need to have light rail, which we will accomplish within 3 years. And that is what I have in terms of road transportation, in terms of road transportation. The construction of airports cannot be overemphasized because it is a well-generating concept which will help our people outside the country.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Candidate of the MPPP.
Yes. I think the MPPP has a great plan for transportation because we've seen the sufferings of Anambra and Anambrarians. And many times when it is close of work, we discover that many people find it very difficult to get to their places, especially when it rains. I'm talking about people from main market going back to maybe, well, for people that knows that terrain very well, because I grew up in Anambra State. I know what it means to, stay for a long time without catching a bus. So the first thing we are going to do is to create a mass transit system that will be highly subsidized for the people, that people who are coming back from the market doesn't have to trek from that, for that long to get to their destinations. So first thing we are going to do is to bring buses. We're going to bring buses in to make sure that these buses, that they are at a very reduced cost. So that if you are going to business, you are going to, your business or you are going to work, you discover that you will find it difficult to get to your working place, or as a student too.
Thank you. NCP.
Yeah, my party believes in making life easy for the masses of this state, and we are going to improve the road network. We are going to assist private investors in the transport sector. But more importantly, we are going to have a good public-owned transportation company. A situation where you have companies like trackers charging the same thing with private investors defeats the main purpose of setting up such companies. A company owned by the state government should subsidize so that the poor masses will have a better way of transporting themselves at cheaper rate, rather than setting up companies that will go and compete with the private sector. We also have plans of building a cargo airport for Anambra State. I said cargo, I'm emphasizing cargo because our people are into commerce. And because my government is going to be people-focused, whatever the people want is what we are going to give to them. Since our people mostly are into commerce, we are going to build a cargo airport so that they will be able to convey their goods from abroad back to Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the PDP.
If elected into office, first of all, is issue of good roads that will be durable. Good roads that are durable will go a long way to ease land transportation. In easing land transportation, we have to buy as many as possible buses under the scheme of mass transit. If we do under the scheme of mass transit scheme, we should encourage the drivers, the owners, to afford transportation, make transportation affordable to our citizens. We should be able to train drivers. Those drivers, we are going to give them soft loan, revolving loans, which they are going to help them in transportation. Issue of rail transport. Rail transport is good, but what I tell you, the most important thing is that simple means of transportation. The man at Riverine needs a boat to be able to connect from Asaba to Anambra West without passing through every nook and cranny of Anambra. The man at Obaru who wants to connect to Hiala, but he needs through a water transport. Another means of transportation, which we will emphasize.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the PPA.
Yeah, first, I will, because of my emphasis on agriculture, in the northern part of Anambra State, we have the land where we can employ thousands of Anambrarians. We have to provide good transport system to be able to move heavy equipment to mechanize agriculture there. Also, to be able to move the population down to Onitsha and back to themselves. I will introduce and organize ferry services that will be available for these people because they've been suffering for a very long time. I will build a bridge across the river, Anambra River. I will build that. Also, I will encourage getting train in place because that's the best way to transport around the world right now with power being available. That is the reason why I say everything revolves around power. Then also, I will make sure that I will introduce, provide a transport system that will encourage private participators to be part of it by encouraging.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Candidate of the PPN.
Thank you very much, sir. Before now, trackers in Anambra was doing well. But because we neglected it, the past government neglected it, it's no longer functioning the way it was. We're almost getting there, transport-wise. But it was neglected, and other ones are being formed without maintaining the old one. I'm going back to trackers if elected governor to make it what it used to be, and I'll add to it. That's number one. Two, we are talking of airport because we are not informed. If we are informed, we should know that we already given international cargo airport in Anambra, which Orient is already doing. I'm going to encourage Orient within 6 months to put that airport in place. Thereafter, we can now check and do the balancing. Thirdly, the waterways. We are not operating, we are not making it our waterway because we cannot dredge them. I'm going to give it adequate dredging.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next question goes to the UPP candidate. And let me just explain this because I need the candidates to understand that when a question comes to you, it's 2 minutes. When it goes to when others are answering, it's what we call a rebuttal. You have 1 minute to answer. So I hope now you understand the time. Okay, the candidate of the UPP. What is your solution to the perennial problems of intercommunal clashes in Anambra State?
It's unfortunate that we are the same Igbo people and we are having internal problems. I believe that my government will seriously address that issue because it doesn't have to exist in the 21st century. So I must immediately institute a committee of inquiry to look into those issues. So by doing that, we must address it headlong. It doesn't supposed to exist, and my administration will never tolerate that, especially when they talk of the non-indigens in Anambra State being discriminated against. Not in my watch as a governor. Every Igbo person is an Igbo person. So the issue that you come from Abia, Imo, or Enugu will not arise in my administration. Everybody must be treated fairly with equal equity. So my administration will definitely take a look at that, address it properly before it creates more problem. So I would say that during my watch, Anambra State will see a good life. We will let people, any Igbo person, any other person, even other parts of Nigeria, to come in and live harmoniously with us. So there won't be issue of communal clashes between different groups of people. So that issue must be taken care of in my administration. Thank you very much.
Candidate of the UDP.
Thank you very much. Well, other than the target areas we're going to look at, which is security, health, agriculture, power, and education, we're going to make a conscious effort to interface with communities. What's the reason? What's the major reason for all these communal clashes? You go down to it, fundamentally, it's about land. And the next thing, maybe conflict in cultural practices. The government will have a direct committee or commission that will interface with all the communities, identify the cultures or traditions that give rise to violence. And of course, there must be dialogue, continuous dialogue between government and communities. And in any case, if it becomes intractable and it cannot be solved, government may move in to acquire such tracts of land that cause friction in communities. But the fundamental is to dialogue, have agents of government within the communities that will nip this crisis in the world before they blossom. Because if you don't, at that level, control them, it becomes intractable. Thank you.
Okay, the Labour Party.
We have enough, we've had enough during the Civil War. And Anambra State, since after the Civil War, have been living peacefully. But the bone of problem we have is non-conducting of local government election. If we have local government election, people will be very close to their government, and we can resolve issues, disputes amicably. And then also, there's need for us, like that's why I said local government is one thing that is of top priority to my government. The second thing is about, enhancing communication, training, and then employment within the locality. That's why I said we have to start building industries in the local governments and then start changing the orientation of our people. Because once we get our youth engaged in dormitory-style industries, I think you will go to the village, you won't even see, if they found you in the village, they will be asking you, what are you doing here? So that is what I think we have to use as a template to resolve disputes.
Thank you. MPPP.
Yes, the mega party will assure that there is peace in the state by actually dialoguing with the local government, because if there is a government close to the people, I strongly believe that that government will make the people, feel at home. Why there is a lot of clashes, because there has been some sort of neglect. When some communities have been neglected and these issues came up and there's no government in place to be able to tackle it at the beginning, very soon, before you know it, they will take to arms. So what we are going to do is to make sure that there is this government and people relation, because MPPP will form a government of the people. We can be open to anybody, so that if there are such clashes, we will be able, if there is such problems, we'll be able to tackle it in the beginning, so that before it gets out of hand. So I believe that when there is peace in the center, there will also be peace all over the place. So I strongly believe that MPPP will make sure that we maintain peace and order.
Thank you. NCP, please.
Yeah, intercommunal clashes are caused by poverty, hunger, and starvation. You see, few people are pocketing our money, and we are busy killing ourselves with knives and guns. If I'm elected the governor of Anambra State, I will make sure that everybody is happy, everybody is well-to-do. And I'll tell you, it will be difficult for you to even hire a thug in my state, because if all of us are doing well and well-dressed, you cannot come and call me to come and fight. Nobody will fight for you, and the intercommunal clashes will come to an end. So it is poverty, hunger, and starvation, and I will solve that, and there will be no more clashes in Anambra State.
Okay, thank you. The PDP.
If I'm elected the governor of Anambra State, the greatest way to stop communal clashes, first of all, is youth empowerment scheme. Which is one of the major bedrock of what I'm coming to do. If our youth are engaged, if our youth are employed, I don't see why there should be constant communal clashes. That is number one. Number two, that there should be proper conflict resolution. I was the former national president of students and youth in Nigeria. One of the greatest people, or one of the most difficult people to handle are the students. When we're in power, we went around every nook and cranny of Nigeria maintaining peace, resolving crises. If I'm elected governor of Anambra State, I should encourage all the strata of government, people at the rural areas, people at the urban areas, to know that, one, there must be conflict resolution. Number two, that leaders should live above board, government should live above board. There should be impartiality. Government should not be partial. If there's an issue, let it be resolved amicably. Politicization of traditional institutions, government trying to politicize the town unions and other things, even land disputes, the government should live above board.
Thank you. PPA.
Yeah. What I will do is I will create a conflict resolution commission that will sincerely resolve differences among towns, among communities. And then, while this is being done, in my program of creating employment that would virtually take everybody, keep everybody busy, there will be nobody to be used for certain odd jobs. All our children, all our graduates from school will be engaged doing meaningful things. Therefore, they wouldn't make themselves available to be used wrongly against their own. I will discourage that. Thank you.
PPN.
Thank you very much once again. Like I said earlier, I said I will restore peace, love, prosperity, and finally take an umbrella back to God. If we are close to God, there will be no communal clashes. If we are close to God, we can't kill one another. If we are close to God, kidnapping won't be there. I tell you, if we are back to God, every other thing will fall in place. So that solves that problem you asked about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. SDP.
Thank you very much, the moderator. Anambra State needs deliverance. If elected as the executive governor of Anambra State, I will build Anambra Praise Center, where people of Anambra State and people from all over the world will assemble on a daily basis for praise and worship. A high praise intercession ground.
Please, the audience.
We need to lead our people back to God. In Anambra State, a lot of crimes have been committed. Our people commit crimes with impunity. People commit crimes and they are not prosecuted. The land, Anambra State itself, needs deliverance. And it is time we lead our people back to God. When our people have come together to embrace God, there will be peace and unity in Anambra State. There is a high rate of unemployment in Anambra State. Our youths are not happy. When our youths are gainfully employed, the issue of communal...
Okay, thank you very much. I think at this point, we'll take follow-up questions because you've actually said a lot during the course of the debate. So we would like you to talk to us more about some of the things that you've talked about. For the UDP, tell us what will be your policy direction. Because in everything you've been saying, I would like to pick out one, two, three things that you should do, perhaps within your first 100 days in office. I've not been able to pick out what policies you stand for.
Thank you very much. I react to the questions as they are asked. That's one. Two, now that you asked questions on the policy trust, like I said, we're going to tackle 5 key areas in the state. That is security, that is health, that is agriculture, that is power, that is education. The job creation potentials of these 5 areas will create the multiplier effect the economy needs to have a jump start. Now, go to the area of election we've talked about. For close to 10 years, we've not been able to conduct local government elections. Within first 4 months, we should be able to have local government election. It does not matter which party or what party wins the election. The important thing is that people should be in their proper places of work so that the system, the heat in the system will go down. Because the job creation potentials of local government election is also, cannot be contested. Now, like we said, security is key. Any society that cannot provide security, in fact, is the primary reason that government is treated amongst men. And in doing that, we are going to create a database of all retired officers, be them in the army, be them in the navy, be them in the police. There is no doubt, people that worked in the police, in the army, in all the armed forces, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s were very, very well trained. And in the area of health, the primary health care, we should be able to have in every community in Anambra State, even if it is 20-bed clinic that is functional, well-equipped, and well-staffed. In the area of agriculture, yes, we've said a lot about mechanizing agriculture, but it is your policy trust. When you go into palm production, that area also produces power. Then if you go into education, the curriculum is wrong. We're going to change the curriculum.
Thank you. Imoni, you have a follow-up.
A follow-up. This follow-up is directed at the candidate of the Labour Party. And it will follow the line of the last question. Your first 100 days in office, what you consider will be the major priorities of your government, and particularly because you spoke about raising the level of internally generated revenue. What is your target?
First, transparency, accountability, and probity is one of the biggest problems in Anambra State today. I will not go deep into that because we don't have enough time. The next is local government elections so that people will be closer to their government. The next is power generation so that we can generate enough power for our industries. Security challenges to network Anambra State. Industrial revolution that will employ and engage our youths. Business development program that will enhance the revenue of the state and at the same time to develop the women, widows. They are suffering. And then you look at our widows, they don't have future for their children. So the government must support them. And then look at how we are going to uplift the status of our education in Anambra State and in our health. Our people are dying, they are going to India. And then you need to look at the problem they encounter in the transit points. So we want to relocate India back to Anambra State. And all this we will have to tackle simultaneously.
Thank you. Ide, you have a follow-up question also.
The candidates of the NCP and the PPA spoke about providing electricity and establishing independent power plants. As you know, power is on the exclusive list. So if you'd like to give Anambrians a little more details of exactly how you intend to do this, beginning with the NCP, please.
Yeah, you see, power is on the exclusive list, but a state government can build a power plant and hand over to the federal government. So if I become the governor, I'm going to discuss the modalities with the President of the Federal Republic, and Anambra State will build an independent power plant with partners from abroad, and then hand it over to the federal government to serve the people of Anambra State. We cannot just fold our arms and watch while our people are suffering, because without energy, nothing works. Our private lives, our businesses, our industries. So it is a priority, and I will achieve that within the first 100 days.
And the PPA?
My program on power is what is too important to me, because virtually everything we're going to do here, there must be power if they can go. I have already dealt into visiting certain power plants, see the modalities, how they are doing it, and spoken to some of my contacts out there, even though I'm not yet the governor, to see how practicable it is before I put it in my manifesto. I will generate power. I will discuss with the power at the center. You know, the power at the center will help to assist me by allowing me to do this, given the fact that by 2005 there is a sort of little changes we've had in our power sector, which made it possible for individuals, corporate organizations, and even state government to invest on it. Anambra State will exploit that also. I will do that, and I will make sure that this is done, and I will make sure I will work in consonance with one of our own who owns the network that distributes power within Anambra State. That is one of our brothers. I will get him into believing in what I am doing, and then I will be able to make healthy those networks to be able to deliver the power at the point where they are needed. Because generating power is one thing, then delivering it at the point where they are needed is another thing. One of the IPPs I've visited is only meant for Aba, and it's for an individual. So why can't my state government do that for the benefit of the entire Anambrans? I will do that, and I'm sure I can do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. A follow-up question for perhaps the PPN candidate and the Labour Party candidate in just consecutively, but I'll start with the PPN candidate. You talked about being a NAPEP coordinator. I hope I got you right at the beginning.
Yes, I
You were
did.
involved in NAPEP.
Yes, I
and
did.
we all know that NAPEP is an agency, of course, for poverty alleviation.
Yes,
Do you think that Anambra is a poor state? Yes or no?
Yes,
Why? Do you know the poverty rate of Anambra State?
about 60%.
I think you're not right, because Anambra State is one of the least, I should say, is not among the poor states in Nigeria. You should check your facts well. That is one. Then the other thing is, how do you intend to alleviate the little poverty? Get me right, I'm not saying Anambra is not a poor state, but among the 36 states of Nigeria, it's still down there. You understand what I mean? It's not like other states in the north. So how do you intend to eliminate the little poverty? Because we still have rural poverty.
Thank you very much. Well, to your opinion, or to the outsiders, we are not poor. But as an insider, I'm telling you we are poor.
It's not my opinion. Check the facts right.
Let me give you my reasons of saying what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Could you believe with me in some parts of Anambra State today, there is no electricity for the first time? Some parts of Anambra State doesn't have road to enter to their places. Do you believe that? And I'm telling you, over 25-30% of Anambrans cannot ride their cars home. So to me, and my opinion, Anambra is one of the poorest in Nigeria.
Okay,
That's number one. Two, to eliminate it. Like I said in the beginning, I told you that we are going to put a structure in place. We don't have a structure. We are running the set from the center and center alone. We are tempering and dealing with individual local government allocations. I am not going to touch local government allocation from the one in office to the end of my stay in office. The local government chairman with the councillors and the supervisors, if well supervised, the allocation alone will help in alleviating them in their various localities. I'm going to assure you that. That's point number one. Two, as a former ANAPEP chairman, I told you, I was close to the grassroots, and I know their yearnings. I am going to create microfinance banks in every locality. In every locality.
Thank you. Okay, the next follow-up goes to Labour Party before we take our closing remarks, because we're also gradually coasting to the end of the debate. It's supposed to be 4 to 6 p.m. The Labour Party candidate, you've been widely reported lately in the newspapers, and I think we won't be doing this debate a justice if we don't bring it up. And you've also been widely criticized over perhaps your inability to manage, though you were not here on time. We do know you are the private proprietor of Capital Oil and Gas. People say that your company has been seized, but AMCON came out, was it last week, Kayode Lambo, head of corporate communications, said your company has not been seized, but the management's taking over. Why do you think that Anambarians should trust you that you can govern the state? That is one. Then two, your deputy governorship candidate told us the last time we had our session that your government will create 10,500 jobs in 1 month. I want to know how you're going to do that and in what sectors.
And I hope you give me enough time.
No, just quickly, your time starts now.
No, just
2 minutes. 2 minutes, go ahead.
Okay, first and foremost, AMCON didn't seize Capital Oil. In fact, I had an option of selling Capital Oil to AMCON. If I had sold Capital Oil to AMCON, I would have made $2 billion. Looking at the same template, AMCON bought other companies. But I think AMCON, looking at the kind of money they will pay me, they decided to inject $16 billion into Capital Oil. Our staff, one of our staff has not been sacked. None of our management staff has been retrenched. So if a company that has over 4,000 staff, AMCON is coming with $16 billion and injecting 3 management staff to watch after their investment, how can one assume that the company is not well managed? And the company today still maintains 35% stake in the downstream sector of Nigerian economy. And this is something an umbrella built in just 5 years. It is unprecedented in the annals of Nigerian history. And I think I should be congratulated for that. That's
Audience,
all.
Please. Audience,
please.
Your time
on
is
jobs,
ticking.
on jobs.
Audience, please. Audience, please.
On jobs. If we have 500 youths in every local government, and then we can subvent 30% of the local government revenues for rural road development. You go to Lagos State, you see what I did in my street. Go to Nnewi and see what I did. I'm using a template of interlocked stones, which last more than the asphalt. So if I can have 500 youths building in rural roads in Anambra State, 500 by 21 local governments gives 10,500 a month, and I can achieve that. I have done it.
Okay. Audience, please. Can you be calm?
Please.
Can you be calm, please? Thank you. We needed to ask you those questions.
Please,
because,
I need more of that.
Yes, and I'm still sticking with you, but you are going to be giving us your closing remarks now, because I'm afraid we're coming to the end of the program. Okay. So your closing remarks in 2 minutes, then we'll take it down again.
I want a number of people to trust me. I have built wealth. I have employed labor than anybody else. I have built the best community in Anambra State. I have passion for the Anambra State. I am not in this business for selfish reasons. I am here because I feel your pains. What I need you people to do is just to pray that Ifeanyi Ubah becomes the next governor of Anambra State and their tears will be wiped away. Thank you.
All right. Audience, please. Audience, please, please, please. The rules were read to you, all of us before we started this debate. But they are wasting our time.
I've told and people should allow peace to reign.
Okay. I just want to reiterate again, the closing remarks is just for one minute. And of course, you even finished before 1 minute anyway. But
well, I don't have too much.
Yes, it's okay. The candidate of the MPPP.
Yes, I want the Anambrans to just know, like I said in the beginning, that we have what it takes to give the good life to the people because we are recreated. And like I said, we cannot live contrary to our nature because our nature is all about doing good to the people. We've been doing that, and I believe that coming to serve Anambrans is just that God wants to put a smile on our faces. So we are just coming to serve, and whatever we have said we will do here, we are going to perfect it. I'm telling you that the ability to do what you have said is in us because it's our nature. So we cannot afford but to do good to Anambrans. So I want to tell Anambrans that they should vote right and look at the criteria, whether that man that is coming to rule you is he recreated? Does he have the nature of doing good? If he has, then that will be good. So think along that line. I believe that as you do that.
Thank you. NCP, please.
My message for the people of Anambra State is that we have tried the big parties. We have tried the money bags. Now it is time for us to try the ideological parties and try the common man. The common man is offering himself for the position of governor of Anambra State. And if you try me, I will deliver. Thank you very much.
PDP.
To Anambra State that I've heard many offices that people repose confidence in me. I never betrayed them. I've led students in highest capacity in this country. I've led party on my hometown, Anambra State. I never disappointed people. And most importantly, youth empowerment scheme, massive revolution of our industries, education, massive infrastructural rejuvenation. If elected governor of Anambra State, I've had a past antecedent. It's left for people to judge me based on antecedent. If I'm elected, that area of insecurity, that area of massive unemployment, that area of decay in our infrastructure, that area of revival of urban and rural areas, and that area of, most importantly, reorientation of our moral and ethical grounds. I promise and assure Anambrans, those areas are going to be cardinal points of my administration.
Thank you. Please, the PPA.
Thank you, my people of Anambra State, for listening to me today. I will tell you this. I have love for you. And my love for you is the passion that drives me. That's the passion that drives the dream. I've arrived into Anambra for the last 4 years. I'm living in Anambra. I don't live in Abuja. I don't live in Lagos. I live in Anambra State. And since that 4 years, I've created, via my farm efforts, employment for the people, living amongst the insecurity. I've created an industry, still creating unemployment, living among insecurity. I've forgone my privacy, my time, my pleasure, instead of living out there in UK, to come back and stay here to salvage this state together for the benefit of everybody. Thank you so much.
Audience, I want to just ask that we should be a bit calmer in this hall. The rules were read to everyone, no clapping. And why is this session different? Please, we want you to maintain a sense of decorum. We don't want you to be walking about the auditorium till the debate is over. We beg of you. Thank you. PPN, please.
Thank you. My message to all our Anambrans is that the vote given to me is voting transparency, a vote for discipline, and a sincere leadership. I am going to join hands with all religious leaders in Anambra to return Anambra to God. I know that while doing this, every other thing will follow suit. I'm going to give you the experience I've acquired all this while that I'm serving others. I paid my dues in this game politics, and I've learned a lot. And I'm going to correct the errors of Anambrans if given the mandate to rule Anambra. Thank you very much.
SDP, please.
Thank you very much. I am a voice for the youth. Among all the governorship candidates, I am the youngest. And if elected on the 16th November 2013, I will become the youngest governor in Nigeria. The youth of Anambra State have not been carried along in the governance of this state. It is a time to give our youth their own time, their own chance to participate massively in the governance of Anambra State. We need to empower our youth, and I strongly believe that it's only a youth who understands the plights and the dilemma of his fellow youths will transform Anambra State. I want you to vote for SDP. I want you to vote for Honorable Basil Onyachonam. And I'm very confident that come November 16, 2013, I will be duly elected as the executive governor of Anambra State. Thank you very much.
UPP.
My good people of Anambra State, please, before you go into the poll to cast your vote, please look at the person's qualification, educationally, professionally, and practically. I know how to create jobs. I know how to manage resources. I have done it before. I will do it in Anambra State. We have to have a change. The change is now. My good people of Anambra State, look at the person's character. Look at the person's integrity. Look at the person's pedigree. And then look at the person's humility before you cast your vote. Please, vote for me. I will transform Anambra for the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Thank you. UDP.
Thank you very much. Good people of Anambra State, I am in this race not because a sitting governor is backing me. I am in this race not because I have billions stashed away. I am in this race not because I was disappointed by some people and I want to do it myself. I am in this race because I am qualified. I have the calling. I have the vision to move Anambra State forward. And I have the character. I have the pedigree. Now, we believe that consultation should overcome coercion and reason should overcome violence. And I beg Anambra people, let God's will be fulfilled in God's Son. Vote for Godson Okoye, vote for UDP on the 16th of November. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. I want to say thank you to all the candidates standing before us, but before that, I would like to invite the chairman of the NEDG, Aremo Taiwo Alimi, as well as the managing director of Anambra Broadcasting Service for the presentation of certificates. Aremo Taiwo Alimi, sir, as well as the MD of ABS, Reverend Alphonsus Ginikankwa. Ginikanwa. Yes.
Thank you very much. We have come to the end of the second round of the governorship candidates debate today, and we must commend all the participating candidates for their commitment and their passion towards service to Anambra State. We really thank all of you. And to the audience, you represent the lowest in character in all we have been doing, from Sierra Leone, where we had presidential debates that I organized. Audience does not behave like this. In Edo, they were calm. In Ondo, they were calm. In Abuja, they were calm. This is a disappointment and almost a disgrace to Anambra State and Anambra culture. It must never happen again. It's an assault on the rule of the debate, nationally and internationally. It does not matter who you are. Please, it must never happen. You have disappointed Anambra State. I must commend the moderator and the panelists and the timekeeper for a good job well done. I would thank our production team for bringing and beaming this to the whole world. And that's where your character attitude was wrong. This is being watched internationally, and you are not supposed to violate the rule of debate. Once again, we thank our participating candidates, and the Almighty God will continue to be with you. We will now present the certificate of participation.
You go ahead now because
Okay, as the presentation of certificates go on, because we just have less than about 5-7 minutes to the end of the program, I want to thank every one of you, the candidates that have shown up. Of course, the morning session as well as the evening session. It's been an interesting day. This event was powered by DAR Communications PLC in providing the TV signals, the FRCN for radio signals. This debate is also supported by a group of organizations, and I'll start by saying INEC supported this debate. USAID, IRI, UNDP, BORN, NOA, as well as the Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS. Please would like to tell us, please, okay, as the chairman and the candidates pose for a photo session. After the photo session, we would also implore that the candidates hug each other in the spirit of sportsmanship after the photo session. Going ahead, we implore the audience watching us at home as well as those here to join us again on Friday, 1st of November 2013 for the final session of the governorship candidate debates here in Oka, the Women Development Center. And I would like to stress that lateness like today shouldn't be, we won't condemn it for tomorrow. Please, the candidates should be here on time as well as the audience. Okay, I'm being given this. The special assistants of the candidates for the debate tomorrow should please wait to pick up an accreditation letter from the Nedg. I repeat, the special assistants of the candidates for the debate tomorrow should please wait to pick up an accreditation letter from the Nedg. All right, like I said a moment ago, please join us again tomorrow. We'll be here for the final session of the governorship debates. Thank you all for joining us on behalf of the panel as well as the production team. I am Nancy Ilo. Have a good evening.
How you doing? Long time, brother. Good to see you again.